Welcome to the Fatter Wallet Show, where faith meets finance and wisdom meets work.
This is the show that explores how timeless principles of stewardship, wealth, and purpose can really transform the way we live and build.
And here at Fatter Wallets, each conversation brings biblical insight and practical strategies to the real-world challenges of money, business, and mindset. We're here helping you grow in wisdom and wealth God's way.
So today, we're tackling a pretty foundational question. What if the roadmap to enduring financial success? What if it was laid out thousands of years ago, honed in like the richest city of the ancient world, and amazingly, it's still spot-on relevant today?
Yeah, we're looking into that profound yet really simple wisdom compiled by George S. Clason in his collection of parables, The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, it was written, nearly a century ago?
Yeah, back in the 1920s.
Right, but the principles, they're set in ancient Babylon, and they feel timeless. They're about unchanging human nature, really, and these kind of fixed laws of finance.
And the big idea Clason puts forward is, well, it's almost revolutionary because it's so simple. Wealth isn't just for the lucky few, or the super gifted.
Right.
He argues that money is actually plentiful. It's out there, waiting for basically anyone who chooses to understand and, more importantly, apply the simple universal laws that govern how you get it. He says these laws are as fixed as gravity. You can't really argue with gravity.
That's a bold claim. And think about the setting he uses, Babylon. It was the global center of everything back then, famous for its massive walls, the hanging gardens. I mean, its treasury was legendary.
Huge, yeah.
But Clason argues the real genius of Babylon wasn't just its buildings or its army. It was that its average citizens, many of them, actually understood basic financial principles, which is kind of amazing to think about.
It really is. But even there, in this city dripping with gold, lots of people were missing the point.
Yeah.
And that's where the book really kicks off, right, with that feeling of discontent.
Exactly. You've got Bansir, the chariot builder, and his buddy Kobe, the musician. Good guys, hardworking guys.
Totally. They're grinding away, dawn till dusk, their whole lives. But what happens? Their purses are empty. They have nothing to show for it.
And Bansir has that famous line, doesn't he? He laments that they're more than dumb sheep, living in this incredible city of wealth, but personally broke.
Yeah, that hits hard. It's that feeling of working so hard, but getting nowhere.
And that's the psychological trap, isn't it? We still fall into it today. We think effort equals results or income equals wealth. We make a decent living, maybe, but then we spend it all just as fast. We end up working hard just to, make someone else wealthy.
Precisely. They weren't missing the ability to earn money. They were missing the crucial understanding of how money actually works, how to keep it, how to grow it.
Which is exactly why these, ancient principles are still so vital for us today. It doesn't matter what your income level is or if you have a fancy finance degree.
Not at all.
This framework gives you a clear, actionable guide. First, okay, how do you acquire money? Second, how do you keep it safe? And third, how do you put any surplus you manage to keep, how do you put that to work so it earns more for you? It's really about building that foundation of true stewardship.
Yeah, taking responsibility for what comes into your hands.
So the central figure who lays all this out is Arkad. He's the richest man in Babylon. And he starts by telling his own story, which is incredibly relatable. He didn't start rich.
Not at all. He began as just a humble scribe, scratching away on clay tablets all day long for pretty meager pay.
Right. And he tells his friends, back then he worked these super long hours, but every month, same story. Nothing left over.
Yep.
All his earnings just vanished. Food, rent, clothes, maybe some offerings, everything went out. He realized he was meticulously paying everyone else.
Everyone but himself.
Yeah. He was the perfect employee for others, maybe, but the absolute worst steward of his own financial future.
That's such a powerful realization. And the turning point comes from Algamish, the moneylender. Arkad does the job for him, works all night, I think.
Yeah, a rush job carving a law onto a tablet.
Right. And Algamish sees Arkad's situation, his empty purse, and drops that foundational piece of wisdom. He says, I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep. And so will you.
Boom. That one sentence, it's the core, isn't it?
It is. Just utterly foundational. And he gets specific about the mechanic, too. It shouldn't be some vague idea. He says, this part you keep, it should be not less than a tenth.
1/10, 10%.
And Algamish kind of challenges him, right?
Yeah.
He says, look, you pay the baker, you pay the sandal maker, the landlord. Why on earth do you leave yourself off that list? You earned it.
It reframes saving completely. It's not deprivation, it's paying yourself for your labor.
Exactly. And we should probably dig into that 110th number for a second.
Yeah.
From a faith perspective, obviously, tithing resonates. But Arkad, or Algamish here, presents it purely as a practical mechanism for financial self-control, right?
Right. It's not necessarily a religious command in this context. It's financial wisdom. And the genius is that 1/10, for many people, it's manageable. It doesn't usually require like a drastic, painful lifestyle change overnight.
Yeah, you can usually adjust.
But it gives you that immediate psychological win. You start building something that's yours, a tangible asset, a little pile of coins that belongs only to you. It's the start.
And Arkad notices something fascinating when he actually starts doing it. He calls it maybe a law of the gods, or perhaps just, the law of expectation or focus.
What was that?
When he disciplined himself to keep that one coin out of every 10, he found he got along just fine without it. He wasn't really any poorer in his daily life.
Hmm.
And even stranger, he felt that coins came to me more easily than before. Maybe because he was now actively looking for them, valuing them differently.
That's interesting. It's like focusing on abundance attracts more, maybe. Or just you're more aware of opportunities.
Could be. But it marks that huge mindset shift. You go from being just a passive consumer, someone money flows through, to being a purposeful accumulator, someone money flows to and stays with.
And he has that great analogy, the first copper saved is the seed.
Yes, the seed for your tree of wealth. If you keep eating your seeds, you'll never get a harvest, let alone a tree to sit under.
You got to plant it.
You have to plant it. And consistent saving, that 1/10, is like watering and nourishing that seed, helping that tree grow. So eventually, you could bask in contentment beneath its shade. It's a long-term vision built on immediate action.
Okay, so Arkad takes this core idea, this pay yourself first principle, and he develops it into what he calls the 7 cures for a lean purse.
Right. These were apparently taught throughout Babylon, like a public education program, to give everyone the tools.
Which is pretty enlightened for an ancient kingdom, really.
Definitely. So let's walk through these. They're super practical.
Okay, cure number 1. Start thy purse to fattening. It's good.
It's basically just the direct instruction we just talked about. For every 10 coins you earn, pull one out for yourself and spend only the other 9.
Simple. Direct. Step 1.
It forces that immediate discipline.
Yeah.
It makes you prioritize, right?
Yeah.
You have to decide, am I going to spend this coin on some fleeting desire, a nicer meal, a new trinket that you'll forget about next week?
Or
Or am I going to dedicate it to building something lasting? What Klassen calls substantial belongings: gold, land, herds, assets that generate income. The 9/10 can cover the wants. The 1/10 secures the future wealth.
Okay, makes sense. But that leads straight into the big objection, which is cure number 2. Control thy expenditures. Because everyone says, but I need all 10 coins. My necessary expenses eat up everything.
Ah, yes, the classic cry. And what's brilliant here is how Arkad tackles this.
Yeah.
He shows this deep understanding of human psychology and spending habits.
How so?
He argues that what we define as a necessary expense will magically, inevitably expand to meet our income, unless we actively fight back. Unless we protest, as he puts it.
So it's not that we don't have real needs, but that our wants sneak in and disguise themselves as needs.
Exactly. The problem isn't the actual rock-bottom necessities. It's our unlimited desires.
Yeah.
We always want more than we can afford, no matter how much we earn. It's human nature.
He uses that weed analogy, right? Leave any open space in your budget, and weeds those unexamined desires will just sprout up and fill it instantly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Even the richest person has more desires than they can possibly satisfy. So, the solution: budgeting.
Ugh, the B word. Most people hate budgeting. Feels like a straitjacket.
I know, but Arkad presents it totally differently. Not as limitation, but as illumination.
Yeah.
He says, okay, get your clay tablet or, your spreadsheet or app today
Right, your modern equivalent.
and write down everything you want to spend money on.
Yeah.
Then go through it. Select your true necessities and the desires that are most important to you, the ones that can realistically fit within those 9/10 of your income.
And the rest.
Cross them out, ruthlessly. Be honest with yourself about what's essential versus what's just a casual wish.
So it's a reframing. A budget isn't a punishment. It's actually freedom.
It's an act of defensive freedom, I'd say. It's like turning on a bright light in a dark cave. It shows you where the money's leaking out. But more than that, it helps you protect your most deeply cherished desires, like building wealth, securing your future, maybe giving generously protect those from being nibbled away by all those trivial, everyday wants that just drain your resources and your focus.
Okay, I like that. Budgeting as defense for your real goals. So cures 1 and 2 are about getting control, about defense. What's next?
Now we go on offense. Cure number 3. Make thy gold multiply.
Ah, the investing part.
Exactly. Arcad points out that gold just sitting in your purse, while maybe comforting, earns precisely nothing. It's idle. It needs to be put to work, put to labor, as he says.
He talks about gold being like a laborer or even a slave working for you.
Yeah, that's the metaphor. Every piece of gold you save is like a worker. And every bit of return it generates, which the Babylonians call rental, that's like its child. And guess what?
The child starts working too.
The child starts working too. This is compounding, pure and simple, described thousands of years ago.
So when they say rental, we should think returns, dividends, interest, income from assets, whatever the mechanism is.
Precisely. It's the fruit of your invested capital. And he gives that really powerful example, doesn't he? The farmer who invests just 10 pieces of silver for his newborn son.
Right, and he just lets it work, adds the rental back to the principal over time.
Yeah, compounding. And by the time the son is, what, 50 years old? That initial 10 pieces has grown to 167 pieces.
Wow, almost 17 times the original amount, just through time and consistent return. No additional money added after the first 10 pieces?
None. Just the power of making your money work for you. And the ultimate goal here, Arcad says, is building the golden stream.
The golden stream. Sounds nice.
It is.
Yeah.
Your real wealth isn't the lump sum you happen to have right now. It's the continuous, reliable flow of income. The rental, the returns pouring into your purse, whether you're actively working that day or sleeping or traveling the world.
Passive income, basically.
That's the modern term. Yeah. That stream is built by making sure every dollar you save is put to work, diligently multiplying itself.
Okay, but if you're putting your money to work sending it out there, that sounds risky, which leads perfectly into cure number 4, right?
Absolutely. Guard thy treasures from loss. Arcad is very clear. Misfortune, bad investments, they love a shining target. Putting money to work is essential, but doing it foolishly is disastrous.
So what's the first principle here?
Security your principal.
Hmm.
Above all else, protect the initial amount you invested. Don't lose your seed money.
But people do lose it. Why? What's the temptation?
The lure of unrealistically high returns, what Arcad called usurious rates. Today we call them get-rich-quick schemes, or maybe just falling for investment hype, that FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Arcad calls these temptations deceitful sirens. They sing a sweet song of easy riches, but they lure your ship onto the rocks of financial loss.
And he learned this the hard way himself, didn't he? With his own savings.
Oh yeah, painfully. He tells the story of his very first attempt at investing, that 1/10 he'd painstakingly saved for a whole year. He gave it to Asmor, the brickmaker.
Okay. Asmer the brickmaker. What was the plan?
Asmor was traveling to Tyre, a port city known for exotic goods. Arcad asked him to buy rare Phoenician jewels for him, thinking they could resell them in Babylon for a huge profit.
Makes sense on the surface. Buy low, sell high. But
Asmor knew bricks. He knew absolutely nothing about gems. What did he come back with?
let me guess.
Fakes. Worthless bits of colored glass. Arcad lost everything. A whole year's savings gone. Poof.
Ouch. Brutal lesson.
Incredibly brutal. But the takeaway was crystal clear. Never trust a brickmaker for advice on jewels. Don't ask the baker about the stars.
Stick to experts in their field.
That's the advice imperative. Seek counsel only from those who are competent through their own experiences in handling the specific kind of money or asset you're considering. Don't listen to your brother-in-law about crypto unless he's a proven expert, right?
Right. Good advice.
A small, safe return, guided by someone who actually knows the territory, is infinitely better than chasing some huge potential gain based on ignorance or a tip from someone who doesn't know any better than you do.
This ties in perfectly with that other story, doesn't it? Rodin, the spearmaker.
Ah, yes, Rodin. Great example of this principle in action, especially the pressure part.
So Rodin gets a windfall, right? 50 pieces of gold from the king. A huge amount.
Life-changing money for him. And what happens instantly?
Everyone comes calling. Friends, family. They all want to borrow it.
Naturally. And the biggest pressure comes from his own sister. She wants Rodin to bankroll her husband, Aramin, so he can become a merchant. Big dreams, zero experience.
And Rodin's stuck. He's terrified of losing this gold, which represents like a lifetime of potential savings for him. But he's also terrified of ruining his relationship with his sister if he says no. It's a classic dilemma.
Totally classic. So what does he do? He doesn't just react emotionally. He seeks counsel. He goes to Mathon, the gold lender, basically, the Babylonian equivalent of a seasoned financial advisor.
Smart move, getting objective advice.
Very smart. And Mathon lays out some serious wisdom about lending. He starts with that great little parable, the story of the ass and the ox.
Oh, yeah, tell that one.
Okay, so the ox is tired of plowing all day. The ass, feeling sympathetic, suggests the ox pretend to be sick the next day to get some rest.
Okay.
The ox does it. The farmer comes out, sees the sick ox, and thinks, well, the plowing still needs to get done. So who does he hitch up to the heavy plow instead?
Uh-oh.
The ass. The ass. The poor ass spends the entire day doing the ox's brutal work, utterly miserable.
Serves him right for giving bad advice.
Well, the moral, Marathon explains to Rodin, is profound. If you desire to help thy friend, do so in a way that will not bring thy friend's burdens upon thyself.
Wow. Okay. Don't take on someone else's risk entirely, even if you want to help.
Exactly. Don't jeopardize your own financial stability, your 50 pieces of gold representing 50 years of labor, just so your inexperienced brother-in-law can experiment at being a merchant.
So what should Rodin do? Marathon gives practical advice.
He does. Marathon explains that the safest loans are secured, either by property collateral or by proven, assured earning capacity. Loans based just on emotion or on someone's untested ambition. Super risky, especially young people who want shortcuts to wealth and borrow recklessly.
So for airmen,
Marathon tells Rodin, if and only if Ehrman comes up with a wise, practical, detailed business plan, one that Marathon himself, the experienced lender, reviews and approves, then maybe Rodin could consider lending him a small amount.
not the whole 50 pieces.
Absolutely not. Maybe just 1 year's worth of Rodin's typical savings, 3 pieces of gold, perhaps. Amount Rodin could afford to lose without being ruined.
So limit the risk, test the plan, get expert validation.
Exactly. The wise lender, Marathon says, isn't taking on the risk of the venture itself. They are seeking confidence that their gold is safe and will be returned, along with the agreed-upon rental or interest. It's all about guarding that principle, even when trying to be helpful. It perfectly embodies cure number 4.
That's incredibly practical advice, even for just, family loans today. Okay, so that's guarding treasures. What's cure number 5?
Cure 5 is, make of thy dwelling a profitable investment.
Home ownership. The Babylonian dream.
Seems like it was. For them, the big advantage was getting out from under liberal rentals to exacting landlords. Owning your own place cut a major ongoing expense.
Plus, there's that psychological boost, right? Eating figs from your own fig tree, as the book says, a sense of security and confidence.
Definitely. But here's where we need to maybe apply a modern filter.
How so?
Or in ancient Babylon, buying or building a simple home might have genuinely reduced your cost of living pretty quickly compared to rent. Today, with sky-high property prices in many places, huge mortgages, property taxes, maintenance, simply buying a house doesn't automatically mean you're better off financially day to day.
Yeah, it could just swap rent for a massive decades-long debt payment, plus all the other costs. It might actually increase your expenses, at least initially.
Right. So we need to focus on the underlying principle of the cure, I think, which is that your dwelling shouldn't be an endless financial drain. It should ideally be an asset.
So if you can borrow responsibly, keyword, responsibly maybe build equity over time, and eventually pay off the loan using funds you might have otherwise spent on rent.
Then yes, once that debt is gone, your housing cost drops dramatically. Just taxes and upkeep remain. That does free up a big chunk of your 9/10 budget for other investments or desires, just like Arcad said.
So the principle holds, aim for your home to be a profitable investment in the long run. But you have to be smart about how and when you buy, ensuring it makes financial sense, not just emotional sense.
Exactly. Buy wisely.
Okay.
Okay, cure number 6 moves to the longer view. Ensure a future income.
Planning for old age, essentially. Retirement planning.
Pretty much. Making provision for your later years when you might not be able to earn as easily or at all. Arcad thought a lean purse in old age was a terrible tragedy, something to be actively prevented.
So how do they do that? Not like they had 401ks.
No, but the concept was the same. Build up assets that generate income for you. He talks about acquiring houses or lands that produce rent, or making small regular deposits with a moneylender, basically. Saving consistently into an interest-bearing account so it grows into a worthy competence.
A worthy competence. I like that phrase. It's not about being mega rich, necessarily, but having enough secure.
Exactly. Enough to live on without having to toil endlessly. He uses the example of Anson, the sandal maker.
What did Anson do?
He was incredibly disciplined. He put aside just 2 small pieces of silver every week for 8 years. Tiny amounts.
Okay.
But because he put it with a lender where it earned rental compound interest, that small regular saving grew to 1,040 pieces of silver over 8 years.
Wow. From just 2 pieces a week.
Yeah, and the projection was if he kept that same habit up for another 12 years, the total would reach 4,000 pieces. That was his worthy competence. A solid fund built over decades to provide for him later in life.
It shows the power of starting early and being consistent, even with small amounts.
Absolutely. And what's really remarkable is that Arcad also touches on protecting your family if you aren't around anymore.
Like life insurance.
It sounds incredibly like it. He talks about communities where members made small, regular payments into a common fund. If a member passed away, their family received a handsome sum from that pool. It provided stability and peace of mind, a way to ensure an income for your dependents. Really forward-thinking.
Amazing. Okay, so we've covered saving, budgeting, investing, protecting principal, home ownership, future income. What's left? Cure 7.
Tier 7 brings it back to you. Increase thy ability to earn. You are your greatest asset. Your capacity to generate income is fundamental.
So how do you increase that?
It starts with desire, according to Arcad, but not just vague wishing. Strong, definite desires. He says you train yourself. Start small. Desire 5 pieces of gold. Figure out how to achieve that. Master the methods. Then aim higher. Build your capacity incrementally.
Okay, goal setting.
Yeah.
Makes sense. What else?
Relentless self-improvement in your work. Strive for perfection in your calling, whatever it is, that directly increases your value and your earning power.
So learn more, practice more, get better at what you do.
Yeah. Seek out new methods. Consult with others who are masters. Read, study, whatever it takes in your field. Don't just tread water. Be in the front rank of progress and not stand still. Keep honing your skills.
And there's a character component too, isn't there?
Huge. It's not just about technical skill. Arcad links earning ability to self-respect. How do you build that? By living honorably. Pay your debts promptly. Take care of your family. Make a will. Be charitable. Help the unfortunate where you can.
Living with integrity.
Exactly. Cultivating that integrity, that self-respect, gives you the inner strength and confidence to pursue and achieve those carefully considered desires, including the desire for greater earnings.
Okay, those 7 cures cover a lot of ground, from saving the first dime to lifelong learning.
They really provide a complete framework. But applying them takes more than just knowing them. It takes action. Which brings us to how the Babylonians thought about luck.
Ah, yes, the goddess of good luck. Everyone wants good luck.
Everyone does. But Arcad is adamant. True good luck isn't some random lottery ticket win. And it's definitely not found at the gaming tables or chariot races. Why?
Because the odds are stacked against you. The house always wins.
Precisely. The gamekeeper always takes their cut. That's not opportunity. That's usually just a tax on hope. Real good luck, Arcad argues, is found where value is created in honest trade, in diligent labor, in smart commerce.
And how do you attract it?
By being ready. By accepting opportunity when it knocks. Good luck follows the person of action.
Okay, so being proactive. But what stops people from acting? What's the enemy of action?
The big one. Procrastination. Putting things off.
We're all guilty of that sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Clancy gives some vivid examples. Remember the story of the wealthy merchant? He's presented with this amazing investment opportunity.
What was it?
A plan to irrigate barren land just outside the city walls using these new, innovative water wheels. Huge potential profit turning wasteland into fertile fields. His own father urged him, jump on this, put 1/10 of your earnings in right now.
Sounds like a no-brainer. Did he do it?
He hesitated. Why? Not because he needed to do more research or due diligence. No, he delayed because, well, he and his wife had just seen some beautiful new robes imported from the East, and they really wanted those robes now.
Seriously, robes over a major investment.
Seriously. He put off the important decision for the sake of immediate trivial consumption, and while he was dithering about robes...
Someone else snapped up the opportunity.
Exactly. He missed out completely, and a sharp Syrian traveler who witnessed this basically calls him out, coining that great term, procrastinator. The Syrian knew, opportunity doesn't hang around waiting. It won't wait for the person who says, yeah, I'll get to it later.
Yeah.
You had to be prompt, decisive.
Grab it before it disappears. There's another story illustrating that too, right? The sheep buyer.
Oh yeah, that one's painful too. This guy gets locked outside the city gates overnight. While he's stuck there, a farmer rushes up, desperate. His wife is sick. He needs to get home fast. He offers the buyer his entire large flock of sheep for 1/3 of their market value, a guaranteed huge profit for the buyer.
Wow, what a deal.
Unbelievable deal. The buyer agrees on the price, but then he gets stubborn. It's dark. He can't see properly. He insists he won't pay even a small deposit until he can personally count every single sheep.
Oh no! Delaying overcounting in the dark.
Yep. He delayed the final commitment, the action, because he was being overly meticulous at the wrong moment. He failed to recognize the urgency and the opportunity.
And by morning.
By morning, the city gates open,
Yeah.
other buyers swarm out, see the flock, and instantly offer the farmer much better prices. The procrastinating, overly cautious buyer lost the incredible deal. Poof, gone.
So good luck favors the bold, or at least the decisive.
It favors those who recognize opportunity and act swiftly. Procrastination is the thief of fortune.
Okay, so if action is key, but we also need wisdom to act correctly, like not investing with brickmakers, then we need some core principles, which leads us to the 5 laws of gold, right?
Exactly. These 5 laws are like the distilled essence of all the cures, presented as timeless rules. They come out of the story of Arkad's son, Nomasir.
Right, Nomasir. He didn't exactly follow the rules initially, did he?
Not even close. He inherited a substantial fortune from Arkad, along with a clay tablet inscribed with these 5 laws. But he ignored the wisdom, chased foolish schemes,
What happened?
lost it all. Horse racing bets, a partnership with someone who ran off with the money, classic mistakes born of inexperience and greed.
Ouch. So how did he recover?
He finally hit rock bottom, remembered the tablet, and actually started applying the 5 laws. He realized the wisdom was the real inheritance, far more valuable than the gold itself.
Okay, so let's break down these 5 laws. What's law 1?
Law 1 is the absolute foundation, echoing Cure 1. Gold cometh gladly, and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family.
Pay yourself first, the starting point.
The non-negotiable start. Law 2 builds on that, reflecting Cure 3. Gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field.
Make your money work. Compounding. Get that golden stream flowing.
Exactly. Now, laws 3 and 4 are all about protection, reflecting Cure 4 and Nomasir's painful lessons. Law 3. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling.
Seek expert advice. Guard your principle.
And Law 4 is the flip side of that coin.
Yeah.
Gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar, or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep.
Basically, don't invest in things you don't understand, and don't trust advisors who aren't proven experts in that specific thing. Stay in your circle of competence or rely on those who are truly competent.
Perfectly put. Avoid that FOMO, that temptation to jump into something just because it sounds exciting or someone unqualified recommends it.
Okay, and Law 5.
Law 5 tackles greed and unrealistic expectations head on. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investment.
So avoid get-rich-quick schemes, scams, and letting wishful thinking override sound judgment, if it sounds too good to be true.
It almost certainly is.
Yeah.
Don't chase crazy returns. Focus on steady, protected growth guided by wisdom.
And Nomasir, by finally living by these laws, he not only rebuilt his fortune, but actually earned back more than he lost.
Way more. He returned the original sum Arkad gave him, plus 2 extra bags of gold he'd earned himself. But the point he made was crucial. The wisdom on that tablet was worth infinitely more than the gold, because without the wisdom, the gold just disappears again.
Wisdom is the true wealth multiplier. That's powerful.
It really is. It underlines that financial success isn't just about numbers, it's about principles, discipline, and character.
Okay, we have covered a huge amount. These Babylonian principles, they feel incredibly relevant. Simple, but not necessarily easy to implement.
Definitely not easy. Simple rules, but they require consistent effort and discipline over time. We've explored these powerful ideas that apparently turned Babylon into this ancient powerhouse, and they all root back to personal responsibility.
Yeah, it starts with that core discipline. Pay yourself first. That non-negotiable 1/10. Save it before you do anything else.
Right, and then immediately back that up by controlling your spending. Use a budget, not as a punishment, but as that bright light, a tool to make sure your most important goals, your cherished desires, actually win out over those fleeting everyday wants.
Then you move to offense. Make that saved money work for you. Put it to labor through smart investing, aiming for that compounding growth, that golden stream.
But always, always protect your principal. That's paramount. Get advice from true experts. Avoid things you don't understand. Steer clear of those too good to be true promises. Guard that seed money fiercely.
And it takes action in the real world, too. Responsibly managing your dwelling so it's an asset, not a drain. Planning diligently for your future income, building that worthy competence for later life.
And never stop investing in yourself. Constantly increase your skills, your knowledge, your earning capacity. Live with integrity, and when opportunity knocks, genuine opportunity sees it, act decisively. Don't procrastinate your way out of prosperity.
You know, the text has that powerful reminder, wealth grows wherever men exert energy. It wasn't magic in Babylon. It was people applying wisdom consistently.
And that same potential, that same opportunity exists for every single one of us listening today. The laws haven't changed because human nature hasn't fundamentally changed.
So the real question isn't about the principles themselves. They're clear. The question is for each of us. Are you personally applying these laws of wealth with that same kind of focus, that same determination that the citizens of ancient Babylon were encouraged to? Are you building your own financial fortress?
That's the challenge. If you enjoyed this conversation today, if it sparks something in you to maybe look at your own finances through this ancient lens, be sure to subscribe and visit farrowwallets.com. We've got more content, resources, tools, all designed to help you live wisely and build wealth with purpose.
Go forth, be wise, and build your fortune God's way.